A fantasy suite isn't an open gate to to physical intimacy. It's the open gate to an emotional and intellectual connection.
He's Gerry.
And I'm your first Golden Bachelor.
Are you ready? We are just days away from the world seeing all you in your glory with 22 beautiful women. Are you ready, Gerry?
I am ready. Every level of surprise and excitement has built to the point now where I think I'm ready for whatever happens, anything that gets thrown at me.
Anything that gets thrown at you? Well, I hear that the season's pretty much wrapping up. I mean, you're close to the end while we're about to watch episode 1. What are you most excited for the world to see?
I think the most exciting thing for me is for the world to see the level of beauty and intelligence and poise that all the women bring to this show, and the energy. I think if America sees how much energy people of our age have, I think it will be refreshing to them and invigorating.
But at the same time, Gerry, aren't you scared a little bit, or have a little trepidation, I should say, about what America is also about to see? If so, what are you most fearful of?
I'm actually not. As I went through the process, and I was as genuine and as honest as I could be, I feel like at every turn I did the right thing. So I don't have any fears. The only thing might be a little bit of embarrassment when my granddaughters see that I failed my commitment to not kiss anyone on the first night, and I did. And then in short subsequent manner after that, I think I kissed everyone on the show, including the cameraman and a couple of the audio people. So
no, you didn't. I tell you, what do they say? 72 and you know what to do.
That's right.
How were the hometown dates? Or if you had them, I'm sure you had at least one or two of them. How were the hometown dates for you? Can you give us any teasers there?
So the hometowns were a little different, of course. With a person of my age, I wasn't going to a potential partner's house to meet her parents. Rather, those women were coming to my location and meeting my daughters. And so that was very exciting.
When you got your daughters in the room and the women weren't there, what were they saying to you? Was it any Dad, I don't know about this one. I don't know. Anything that made you think twice?
The nice part about the closeness I have with my daughters is that they don't have to say anything like that to communicate that message to me. A raised eyebrow or a look or just the smallest, most subtle message, and I get it. And there was some of that communication back and forth.
I was going to say it's all in the eyes, it's all in the mouth, the furrowing of the brow.
A little bit.
Well, I want to ask you this too. Did you get a message at all from Tony in this process? And maybe on some of the women, your late wife?
That's a good question, and I guess I would have to say no to that. The message that I got from her was well before this journey started, and that was that, I had a lot of soul searching with respect to my relationship to her on whether or not this was the right thing to do. And I kept going back to the conversations that we had over the years, that when one of us passed, the other one was so empowered to continue on with their lives and find happiness. And we had those conversations. I think many couples do. So that was the message I took with me as I started the journey.
I love that. I want you to give us a clue about your final two. I mean, I know we haven't even gotten the process started yet, but as the viewers are watching the 22 women do their thing, can you give us a light tease as to who could be the final two in the end? As we're watching the show, who could they be?
I think I don't want to give away too much, because I genuinely want people to feel the emotions of the journey. But I think a tease might be this, that if women or if people were to watch that first night and try to pick favorites based on my reactions or based on, things that happened the first night, they would be far away from what the end result is.
I was like, oh, it's going to be a twinkle in his eye. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I love. So it sounds like the folks that you chose, or the person that you may have chose at the end, it sounds like they even shocked you.
It took me a long time to get to where my final decision was. I will say that. And as more and more information was absorbed and processed, it led me down a certain path. It wasn't like I had a hard time finding my way. I really had good clues, but I had to be awake and alert to see them when they happened.
I love that so much. Okay, a couple more questions really quickly. I understand that you all are a wiser demographic, and connecting spiritually and emotionally is very important, but let's talk about the fantasy suite. They're always a big talker on The Bachelor. I know you get this question or something around the fantasy question a lot. What were your thoughts going into the fantasy suites? Did you have nerves? Were you like, do I still have it? Was there excitement? Like, what were your thoughts?
So it's interesting, and I have to back up and check up on your basic premise of what a fantasy suite is. I think as you age, and at least where I'm at, a fantasy suite isn't an open gate to to physical intimacy. It's the open gate to an emotional and intellectual connection. So I know that the general assumption is that the fantasy suite is for the physical part, and it really isn't for me, and it wasn't. It was the time when I was able to have open and frank conversation with women without the eyes of America on me through the cameras. And believe me, when I say that it was the most important time of the journey, I'm not exaggerating. And it has to do with the conversations that happen behind closed doors and not a physical activity.
Sounds like you hit a whole other level of intimacy behind the fantasy suites. That's awesome.
You got it right.
And that's a level that many people don't even get to.
That's exactly right. If I had gone behind the locked door for the physical intimacy, I wouldn't have come out with the right decisions that I made after those nights. I would have missed some very, very important information that was exchanged.